Hey guys, Traveling Taylor back here with you, and I'm taking a short little break from the Nomad City Guys to talk a little bit about the digital nomad lifestyle. So I get a lot of questions about what it's like and don't you get lonely and this and that. And so I kind of just wanted to do a quick, bullet pointed video about the pros and the cons to being a digital nomad. Okay, so I tell everyone that I meet that this lifestyle is available if you want it, but it's not for everybody. And I understand that, and I'm okay with that. I'm not someone who's out there being like, everyone should live this lifestyle, and if you're not, I don't understand why. No, I totally get it. It's all about your priorities. So first, let's start with the positives. Let's talk about the pros when it comes to being a digital nomad. So first, the best positive about all of this is you're always having new experiences. And I think this is really what drives me to keep traveling and keep going different places, is because of the experiences I get to have outside of my working hours. So just in the last 6 months, I've been to Dominican Republic, Greece, Canary Islands, Kenya, South Africa, and now Colombia. So I've actually visited the continent of Africa for the first time, and now I'm in South America for the very first time. And that is just so exciting. I just love being able to close my computer, log off of work, and just go out and visit a restaurant I've never been to, or go to a show I've never seen, or just something culturally different from what I grew up with or what I am used to. So always getting new experiences. Another really awesome part of traveling and being a nomad is all the new friends that you make. So I've definitely lived in cities. I lived in Austin for 7 years, and I lived in Denver for 3 years as an adult. Those are the places that I've lived, had to make friends, not in school, learned all that, loved it, and I loved the deep relationships I was able to make. But there's something also about traveling and making friends who are from different countries and different cultures, and then you get to see them when you travel to different places. So I met a German girl in Bali, and then last year when we were in Mexico, she was like, hey, I'm coming through, are you still there? And we met up in Mexico and got to hang out, and it was like no time had passed. I have other friends, I visited them, we've on 3 different continents, and that's just a really fun different type of experiences that you get to share with these different types of friends. It's also just really cool just to follow their journeys as they travel and where they go, and seeing, how they change and grow as well. So you're always making new friends. Yes, you do have to leave them, but you always get to see them again somewhere in the world. Now, the other really big positive I think you get from traveling is you get to grow and learn about yourself. I think travel is one of the best teachers, which is why before even I was nomading and working for Hacker Paradise, I was also working in study abroad. I'm one of those people where study abroad changed my life. There's never been a better teacher to me, in my opinion, than travel. So being out on your own, especially as a solo traveler for 3 years, doing that by myself, I learned so much about my wants and my likes and dislikes and priorities, and just really what I wanted out of life without sort of the noise of maybe friends or family or culture, or even the country or society that you grew up in. You kind of get to escape from that a little bit and figure out who you are and what it is that you want. Also, when you're traveling, things happen all the time, and you get to see how you react to stuff and learn a lot about yourself, and how, if you miss your bus in a country where you don't speak the language, which has happened to me, how do you deal with that? And what kind of person are you in those situations? And there's just so much growth that comes from even these not great situations at the time, but some things that you can laugh about later on. And the fourth thing that I think is a really big positive is you get to learn a lot of new skills. So this kind of goes back to the experiences, but say you're in Kenya and kite surfing is really a big thing there, and you have the opportunity to go take lessons and learn it. Or you're in Cape Town and you can learn how to surf. or you're in Medellin, Colombia, and you can go learn to paraglide, you know, whatever it is. Like, being able to be in these different locations gives you access to different hobbies or activities or things that you may not have had access to in your home place. And so now you get to learn new skills and practice new skills and pick up something new that is meaningful for you and enjoyable that, you know, you didn't get to do before. Now, the fifth thing that I think is a positive is that you get to learn about the world. I think so many of our countries, even though we have access to the internet and so much information, there's still only so much you can take in or that you find important, right? To your like immediate worldview. And so in a lot of countries and places, you kind of get into these little bubbles and you really only hear about your news or maybe the neighboring countries around you. There's a massive event on the other side of the world, you might hear about it, but for the most part, your daily life is unaffected. But when you start to travel, you start to realize that there are lots of problems around the world, and what one country is facing, another one isn't. And that sounds really weird to talk about, but it was just a perspective that I was never given before because I just didn't have the opportunities. And no, I'm not gonna be in the US and look up like, oh, what's happening in Australia down there? Like, why do I need to know that? When I'm living in Australia, I'm very curious about what's happening there. And when I was in New Zealand, just learning about all of the like eco and conservation that they were doing, being so close to the ocean or being surrounded by the ocean and what that was like. So that's just a small example of what I mean, but you're also learning about, you know, different cultures, different countries, different traditions, you know, just people's different experiences growing up where they did. And I find that really fascinating. I love learning about the world and more of the world around me and not just my bubble that is so easy to create. And the last thing that I think you really learn is to trust yourself and your intuition and just become a lot more confident. So especially if you're traveling on your own, but even if you're not, I think if you're traveling with a group, I still think you learn how to read situations a little better. I think because you don't always have all the information or you don't speak the language, you're kind of inferring, you really start to trust your gut and what feels right and doesn't feel right. And that's a muscle that you really have to practice and use to learn how to use it well. And so I think travel teaches you that, and nomading. And for me personally, I've definitely grown in my confidence and what I think I'm capable of doing, just because I've handled so many just like random situations at this point. But also I've like really chilled out. Like, I used to be one of those people that had to like have everything planned like months in advance, and I knew all this and that, and I already looked at flights. And now I like wait till I get to a country to like look up what I'm even going to do. I plan the flight and the housing, and that's it. Like, I don't have the mental capacity actually to plan too far in advance. And that was really stressful at first, but now I've really learned how to just sort of go with the flow and trust myself and know that I can handle anything that comes my way. So there you have it. There are all my pros for being a digital nomad. This video is actually getting kind of long, so I'm going to break this up into 2 separate videos. So be sure to subscribe for the cons to being a digital nomad coming out soon. Thanks so much for being here. I am Traveling Tayler. You can follow me on Instagram at Traveling Tayler as well to see what is going on. Send me your questions via DMs. I love answering questions. And thanks for being here, and stay tuned for part 2.